Hey everyone, it's Victor from Smoky Pan, and I'm going to make some smoked beef to put into a nice little picnic sandwich. Smoking meat only looks intimidating, but in reality it can be pretty straightforward when you have the right tools and enough free time to manage your fire. Now let's cut to the chase. In a chimney starter, I'm going to throw in some mesquite lump charcoal and a bunch of thick hunks of applewood, about half and half, to impart a sweet spicy aroma on my meat. So I chose a crumpled up newspaper as my fuel, and the heat is coming from this barbecue lighter and the oxygen's just going to get sucked in through the bottom, like all good things. While the coals are getting started, I'm going to fill a small tray with beer and my choice of aromatics. I put in lemongrass, limes, garlic, onions, and shallots to give the steam a little more flavor. Now for the spice rub, let's go with 4 tablespoons of salt, a tablespoon of black pepper, 2 tablespoons of Spanish paprika, 2 teaspoons of cumin, and maybe 2 tablespoons of curry powder. Shake it all together however you want, and make sure to get full coverage all over your meat. It's called a rub, so guess what I'm going to do with my meat? Pat it all over. Yep, you guessed correctly. For this demonstration, I'm showing you a tri-tip, but I'll use an eye of round by the end of the video just to prove that this will work with any cut of meat that's thick enough to be roasted in an oven. Stick with me here, because it'll all make sense in a moment. Now, once the coals are about 2/3 ashed over, I dump them all onto one side of the grill and place my steaming tray on the opposite end. And I forgot to record myself cleaning the grill grate over the fire with a steel brush, but let's move on. Eventually, the thick and dirty white smoke burns off, and that'll leave us with some clean-burning, barely visible bluish smoke. Right around now, I'm going to put the lid back on until the internal temp comes up to around 275 degrees Fahrenheit measured with an oven thermometer. Finally, I can put my seasoned eye of round on the far side of the grill away from the fire with a probe thermometer so that I know exactly when it hits 125 degrees Fahrenheit for a nice rare cut of roast beef. I like to make sure the larger sides of the meats are facing the fire so that the whole cut can cook evenly. Now close the lid and walk away. Now's our chance to make a simple Insta-pickle to go with the roast beef sandwiches. Slice an onion as thin as you can and put them into a container of your choice for now. In a measuring cup, I'm going to put about 4 ounces of sugar with just enough rice wine vinegar to come up to that 4-ounce line, then add water until it hits the 12-ounce line. Whisk it all together until all the sugar's dissolved and pour enough to cover the onions. You might want to save some for other things like, coleslaw. After several long hours, we can take the meat off the grill and let it rest so that the protein fibers can come to a consistent temperature before we cut into it with our favorite fillet knife. Okay, screw the fillet knife, it was a terrible choice, so I'm switching back to my santoku. Let that be a lesson to use the knife that's right for you, not the knife that's right for the camera. Now that your meat is all sliced, you can do whatever you want with it. I'm making sandwiches for a picnic, so I got some little buns, cheesed them all over, threw my meat all over it, and then put them into a 450 degree oven for about a minute, just enough to melt the cheese. Finally, I'm topping the sandwiches with a basic vinegary coleslaw and those pickled red onions that we made earlier. They're pretty much ready to eat now with a side of Dijon mustard. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to take these babies to a picnic about an hour away from where I live. Considering I haven't seen these folks in about a year, it was worth the drive this one time. I hope that you enjoyed this video and were able to learn how to smoke some meat. So, go out there and have a safe and healthy and happy 4th of July. And don't throw any fireworks on the grill because the plastic can melt onto it. Oh, and also fire safety, food safety, something. Okay, happy 4th.